It is 8 p.m. and here are our top stories in 90 seconds.
Well, our call volumes have more than quadrupled. Our calls, texts, everybody's trying to get a hold of us.
Local AC companies are feeling the heat already this week.
And this is certainly some of the earliest that we've seen these, near triple-digit temperatures.
And it's not going anywhere just yet.
Along with the hot weather, poor air quality, an ozone alert is in effect.
Fires across our state and the western United States are not helping keep our air clean.
And with one loose spark, one dragging chain, one abandoned wildfire, that grass is available and the fire is going to zip right through that.
Closing arguments come to an end in the trial of accused STEM shooter Devin Erickson.
It doesn't stop after all this. There's still things that I need to fight for after this is over.
Tonight, Kendrick Castillo's father says he will continue to keep his son's memory alive.
This is actually a very small step in justice for Kendrick.
Plus, a small push to keep a big corporation out.
A 24/7 Amazon distribution center?
We have a new update tonight on plans to bring Amazon to Arvada.
Why would the city of Arvada annex property to make it work against the residents and for a business?
Good Monday evening, and thank you for watching Denver7 News on Local 3. I'm CB Cotton. Do you know how hot it was today? Road buckling hot. The high heat caused Plum Creek Parkway to buckle in Castle Rock near I-25. Emergency repairs are underway, but you can see from our Air Tracker 7 video, enough repairs have been made so far to allow for traffic to start moving again. With temperatures near the triple-digit mark, you can understand how busy heating and cooling companies are right now. Denver7's Addie Guajardo spoke with a local company about easy ways to stay cool in this heat.
Good evening, Bell Plumbing and Heating. This is Lydia, and how can I help you?
Calls are lighting up the phone lines as Coloradans seek relief from the heat.
And the AC unit, how old is the unit?
Our call volumes have more than quadrupled.
Tom Tyner, the president and CEO of the Heating and Cooling Company, says the quick shift to hot weather early this summer is forcing people to switch on the AC earlier than expected.
Now we're seeing this perfect storm of the preventative maintenance and all of the startups happening at the same time. We have breakdowns.
As fast as we can.
Paul Ford says they've been working around the clock to help keep families cool during this heat wave.
Most of the guys are putting in 10 to 12 hours a day right now trying to get the units up and running.
People from all walks of life need help cooling their home, and for some, it's their first time installing an air conditioning unit. Historically, homes in Colorado don't have AC since sizzling temperatures are less common throughout the year and nights are typically cool. A few things you can do to help cool off your home: close your blinds or curtains, cover windows with heavy blankets or cardboard, use a box fan in windows to help keep hot air out, and you can grill your meals outside. With many more people powering up the cooling system, it's vital to be aware of the strain it adds to the power system.
Understand there is stress on the grid. And so if we can live at 74 degrees or 75 degrees in our house instead of, 70, 68, we should be willing to, make that sacrifice.
City pools are open across the state to help people stay cool this week. If you plan to visit a creek or river, make sure to check the city website for any potential dangers from the melting snowpack. Addie Guajardo, Denver7.
And of course, we know that everyone doesn't have the ability to have an AC unit in their house. So right now you can visit thedenverchannel.com, where we have this article with 6 ideas on how to beat the heat. You can also find when and where it's been the hottest historically in our state. This heat means we have a Denver7 Weather Action Day in effect for right now through Wednesday. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson joins us now. Mike, no relief from the heat just yet, but I'm hoping you have good news for me on this Monday night.
I have some good news in the longer term, CB, but in the short term, no, it gets worse before it gets better. Skies are clear right now in the Denver area, and wow, what a scorcher of a day. 98 degrees, hottest day of the year so far. 101 up at Greeley today. Out west, it was 102 at Grand Junction. Moab was 103, and it's still really hot, even at 8 o'clock, 89 degrees. 91 up at Greeley, 96 degrees out west at Grand Junction. We do have an ozone alert in effect, the combination of the hot temperatures and low-level ozone caused by the exhaust from cars and trucks. There's a photochemical reaction that creates that, Hazardous to people with respiratory problems. You want to stay indoors, limit your physical exertion. That's the ozone alert along the 6-county metro area. There are some scattered clouds, but they're not doing much out there, and nor will they for tonight. Record heat for the next 2 days, only a few cooling thunderstorms, but there is some relief in sight toward the end of the week. Cooler with a better chance of rain. Details are coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Mike. We love to hear it. The extreme heat is only increasing the wildfire risk across our state. I-70 was closed this afternoon near Avon because more than a dozen fires were burning along the highway. They have all been put out now, but the Platte River fire near Roxborough State Park in Jefferson County is only halfway toward being contained. Dozens of firefighters worked through the weekend to contain it. It is believed to have been sparked by a downed power line. And the Straight Creek fire burning along I-70 between Silverthorne and the Eisenhower Tunnel was contained yesterday. Good news. The cause is still unknown. Because of that high fire danger, we have to be extra vigilant. Some of these are pretty common sense. Don't set off fireworks. Don't park on dry grass. Don't leave your campfire unattended. And smokers, don't throw out your cigarette butts while they're still lit.
So with these hot and dry temperatures, we're going to be expecting that grass to dry really fast. And with one loose spark, one dragging chain, one abandoned wildfire, that grass is available and the fire is going to zip right through that.
As Mike mentioned, our air quality is being impacted right now as well. This is a look at the hazy skies over the high country from our AMCO camera. And the fire danger spans the entire western half of the U.S. A fire burning south of Albuquerque has grown to 300 acres and is burning close to homes. And in Montana, a new wildfire sparked today in Helena National Forest. A Thornton police officer suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries today in a crash. This happened near East I-28th Avenue and Washington Street. Police say the other driver was not injured. No word yet on what caused that crash. Jury deliberations begin tomorrow in the trial of accused STEM shooter Devin Erickson. Denver7's Liz Gilardi was inside the Douglas County courtroom today and has reaction from Kendrick Castillo's father.
It was a long day for the jury here in Douglas County. They're set to start deliberations tomorrow. Today we heard closing arguments. The prosecution said Devin Erickson and a suicidal friend made war on a classroom 2 years ago. They tried to kill all, shot 6, and murdered a hero. That hero they referenced is Kendrick Castillo, and his parents were in the courtroom today along with other classmates. During closing arguments, the prosecution played several pieces of video evidence, including Snapchat videos showing Erickson breaking into a gun safe and doing cocaine. They also referenced a text message from Erickson to Alec McKinney that said, "Go now." But the defense said there's just too much in this case that doesn't make sense and there was no manifesto or plan. Erickson's attorney asked jurors to consider a lesser offense like second-degree murder and asked them to consider this question: what was his participation and intent? Today, after closing arguments wrapped, we heard from Kendrick Castillo's dad.
The video in the school and the Snapchat, all the electronics, I think really helped to solidify the truth of what actually happened that day. I think that those are tangible things that really created a strong foundation for what was stated.
And today in the courtroom, there were some emotional moments from classmates and other friends as they played clips from that video evidence. Erickson, during the closing arguments, just really kind of stared straight ahead, looked down at the table, didn't really do much else. And now his fate will be in the hands of the jury. Liz Gilardi, Denver7.
All right, Liz, thanks so much. We're tempted to say we'll believe it when we see it, but Mark Redwine's trial could take place this week. Jury selection began today in La Plata County. Redwine was arrested for the 2012 murder of his son Dylan in 2017. 2 previous trials were called off because of coronavirus. Redwine has consistently denied he is responsible for his son's death.
Just a total disconnect of big business and people who live here.
Plans to bring an Amazon distribution center to the metro is getting hit with strong pushback.
This will destroy not only the wildlife, but the way of life in West Arvada.
We look at the plans proposed and what city leaders have to say about it.
There's just not much moisture out there, and with those clear skies, more heat coming up tomorrow. and for Wednesday.
And coming up later, blood donations are in need across the country.
We're seeing an increase in medical care that had previously been canceled or postponed.
And for some, that means the difference between life and death.
I wouldn't be here to tell the story, or I would have been waiting on surgery, or I would have had other complications.